Welcome to the Floyd County Museum. Thanks for joining us today. Come along as we show you our storage spaces. We're in our basement, and we want to show off the basement so that people understand kind of the difference between what we have in storage and what we have on display, because about 60% of what we have in the whole collection is not on display at any given time. So we're going to show you some of the things that are currently in storage, and we can start with the furniture room. This is the furniture room. Scott, do you want to explain your origin story here at the museum?
Sure. I was hired in January of 2022 to clean the basement. It was packed full of stuff. You couldn't walk into this room. Things were piled up right to the door. And I built all these shelves, and I put all these things on these shelves and gave them numbers and put them in the computer system and all those things. And so I'm quite familiar with all of this. This is the furniture room because it was mostly filled with furniture, although there are some other not furniture things in here also. Originally, this room was the women's washroom in 1933 at the Salisbury Laboratory.
You'll notice an empty spot on our shelf over there. That's because since Scott put things away on these shelves, we pulled some stuff out to go into displays. So a couch was there that's now in our hotel's exhibit. So when we want to set up a new exhibit, we'll come down to the basement and kind of check out what we have and see what would fit into that exhibit.
And these lights are new also.
Yes.
When I started working, there were no lights in these rooms. So I worked with a floodlight. It was not fun.
This is the machine room. So as you can see, we've got a lot of different little machines on the shelves, plenty of typewriters.
Yes.
Because believe it or not, we don't need to display every single typewriter we own all the time.
And we had a lot more than this.
So we have a lot in storage. But in terms of the collection, we try to keep examples of things that are different or from different time periods or are a different brand or whatever, so that we have a good representation of artifacts from history. This is the laundry room.
Yeah.
But it's got plenty of other stuff other than laundry things. Any highlights in this room, Scott, that you find interesting?
Oh gosh. Well, I mean, this thing's extremely heavy. Getting it on that shelf wasn't fun. And that's extremely heavy. Yeah, all this laundry stuff is extremely heavy. Oh, over there in the corner is all the oil-related things. Mm-hmm. So gas lights and that oil drum at the bottom and the, not flamethrowers, what are they called? Torches. They're on the medium shelf.
Mm-hmm. Scott also thinks everything is exceptionally heavy because he's only ever lifted them by himself. And then whenever I've said, let's move this out of this room, he goes, it's so heavy. And I say, well, two of us will lift it. And then it turns out to not be quite so heavy when two people are lifting it up. So, but I wasn't here when he first got started, and nobody, I don't know, you didn't ask anybody to help you carry stuff up or carry stuff onto the shelves.
Yeah, I wouldn't have. They would not have been helpful.
So, yeah.
Some of our irons up there, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Some of them are kind of fun.
Okay.
Hand tools, axes. That's a refrigerator right there.
Mm-hmm.
Ice box like we have upstairs.
Yep.
Yeah.
The one upstairs is a little cuter, I'd say. So.
Sure.
This is a little room.
Yes.
This is the dairy room. You'll notice some shelving that's left over from, some of it's from Salisbury, some of it may have been installed by the museum folks previously. Like that, I think is definitely that, but
sure.
Then this is probably Salisbury.
Yep.
So, but yeah, this is all dairy stuff.
Right. Some of it's on display right now.
Yes, just a couple things in our mid-century life exhibit.
In 1933, this room was for the lunch ladies. The cafeteria was over there, and on the other side of that glass, there'd be the lunch line, and the lunch ladies would pass the slop through the window there, and the guys would hold out their trays. And so in here, there were, cooking like that. Probably there was a sink or something there at some point.
Mm-hmm.
There was the cooking apparatus in here.
Then we go to the tractor type room, which is looking very nice since our volunteers have swept the floors recently and cleared the tables, so it looks exceptionally clean and nice in here.
Comparatively, yes.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, comparatively. So, especially the floors look pretty good.
Yep.
But when we do a build card order, this is where we come. This is where the build cards are kept. We also have blueprints in this cabinet and in that one. And then these filing cabinets are all left over from the factory also, and we're not totally certain what all is in each of them, but some things are identified that are in those file cabinets.
When I started working here, there was a lot of stuff piled on top of all these cabinets and boxes and things, and I organized it all, mostly papers, and put it where it needed to be, and then it got filled with more stuff later, so, you know, that's how it goes. But yeah, the build cards are in there, the Aperture blueprint cards are in there, and these boxes, we do know is in some of them. The White's tractor quality reports and Iseki quality reports and engine test sheets are in these boxes. And it's also just a bunch of random stuff that we have no clue.
It's also like invoices and things like that for parts.
That's true,
Seems
yes.
to be a good amount of it.
From dealers, yep. The Fiat stuff in that drawer.
We also have just personal collections that people have donated to us, and the ones in here are obviously from former plant workers.
Yep.
People associated with Oliver White.
Yeah. Here we have blueprints. We recently had our volunteers go through all of these blueprint drawers and make a catalog of what all we have and what's in what drawer, and now that's all on paper and it needs to be typed, and that'll be done at some point in the near future. And then we'll know what blueprints we have for the first time in 40 years.
Well, what blueprints we have in these drawers.
Right, yes.
Because obviously we still have these blueprints here, and we don't have all of those identified.
No.
So I assume there's some overlap of what's on Aperture cards and what's here.
Yes. Well, the reason they kept all these, from what I understand, is they were certain that there probably were big blueprints that they didn't have in Aperture card form.
Yeah, but I'm sure there's overlap too.
Oh, assuredly.
Yeah,
no doubt.
for sure. We have some Massey Ferguson stuff over there too.
And the boxes, yeah.
Just kind of random.
Combines, because I guess there's some overlap there with Cockshed or whatever.
For Massey Ferguson
Yeah.
combines? Yeah. So yeah, there's that. And then
HPOCA magazines.
yes, and you can call us and order these.
Yeah, they're $6. Our Cockshed shelf.
This is our film, so we looked at the filing cabinets in the other corner of the room, and the film had previously been on top of those filing cabinets, but Scott had moved it off of the floor onto those filing cabinets. And then, when did we do that?
Last year.
In like October, I think, last year.
Yeah.
We finally moved them onto these, maybe earlier than that. Either way, since we've both been here, we moved them onto these shelves and alphabetized the films. And then we've been digitizing them, or we did 2 batches of digitizing the 60mm film with a guy in Des Moines. And now this summer we've had our intern Paige, who's behind the camera, and she's been using that digitized film to make videos, which are on the channel and will be used in our exhibit space in the track room. But anyway, this is the original stuff, this film on these shelves, and now they're alphabetized and also separated by which company produced them. Okay, here's more stuff. And we call this area the cafeteria because, as previously mentioned, this was the cafeteria area when the building was Salisbury's.
This is where I started working, the first room I was in January 2022, and you couldn't walk into this room either. There was an entire threshing machine over there built up. It had to be disassembled and taken apart out of the museum piece by piece. And this room was just filled with stuff. I think we had maybe 8 to 10 plows in this room, I'm pretty sure. Most of those were gotten rid of. There's so much stuff. All these crates used to be in what is now one of our 2D accession rooms, and there were maybe 3 times as many crates as this, and we just did not need that many crates, so we got rid of a bunch of them and we kept these. Want to see the sump pump? The scary room in here? The sump pump that goes directly into the sewer?
Wow.
There is a light in there, I can turn it on. And this room stinks because that's the sewer right down there.
Yeah.
Crazy, I thought the spell was you, Scott.
It's pretty stinky.
It is stinky.
Horse things.
Horse tack.
Some tape dispensers.
Yep.
And this one is John Legal.
Yes.
And this one's Christmas. So that's
And all these boxes are in Past Perfect and what's inside them.
And for those who don't know, Past Perfect is our computer system for
yes.
logging our museum artifacts. That's pretty standard across all museums is Past Perfect.
Pretty much.
Which is a really clunky old software and not super fun to use, but it's very standard.
It is the finest software 1998 has to offer.
This we call the electric room, although it's not exclusively electrical things, but all these boxes are mostly random electrical equipment.
Oh yeah.
The story behind that is there used to be an electric shop called Kenneth Bloom's or Bloom's Electric, and as basically when the business closed, they just gave everything that they had to the museum. So Scott went through tons of stuff from just Kenneth Bloom's collection. It's a huge collection.
These shelves were the only ones that were here when I started working here, and they were just completely packed to the ceiling with boxes and boxes, thousands and thousands of little bits of electrical, just random crap, broken little bits of porcelain.
Tons of insulators.
So many insulators and light bulbs and just stuff.
We probably have like 300 insulators.
Probably, yeah.
Yeah.
It's
So
an
we have
enormous
fewer insulators now because
Yeah.
we didn't need to have quite so many.
Just a few fewer, yes.
But we also have other stuff that's not electrical equipment. There's some sports equipment in here, and then the bikes, which I think you showed. This is a mortuary basket up here on the top shelf. So that would be for carrying the body from its home to the funeral home.
This is a mechanical computer. It weighs about 10 jillion pounds, and those wheels at the bottom do not work. So you see these scratch marks on the floor, like right there? That was me. I pushed it from over there to here. It took me about 2 hours, and I nearly snapped my spine in half. So, you know, that was fun. Gross.
So. Ooh, the chair room.
Oh, yes.
I like the chair room. And that was the room Scott was first working on when I first started here.
Yep.
You had just started on the chair room, and one of the things that you immediately drew my attention to, and then we did a Did You Know, is the commode chair right here. So it's this fancy chair, and on the seat is a lid where you'd open it and you'd have a chamber pot in it. So that's basically a toilet. It's like a fancy toilet, but you'd call it a commode chair. And when I read about it, it was kind of like, so you didn't have to leave the party. You could like just use it, and then, you know, your servant or somebody would come take the chamber pot away. So super fun poop history. And then we've got a lot of other chairs, several wheelchairs, which is kind of fun.
That was from the American Legion in Rockford.
Okay.
Yep, I remember.
Mm-hmm.
And all these chairs were they were in a huge pile, kind of up to the ceiling when I started working here on the floor. Just stacks and stacks, piles of chairs, along with some other stuff too. And I had to sort through all that. And I built these shelves. You know, I built most of the shelves in the basement.
Scott's an expert shelf builder.
You know, I kind of became one, yeah. Or at least this kind of shelf.
And then we've got some signs in here too.
Yes, because they're very large.
Yep, there's our penny farthing.
Yep.
It's a replica, it's not a real thing. It's not the real thing, but still fun. And then we've got our more manuals here. What did they look like when you first came upon them?
These manuals were here, but they were all randomly assorted in a mishmash, and I organized them into the separate piles. And also, there were pallets, maybe 3 or 4 pallets in this hallway, stacked and stacked, still wrapped in plastic, probably from 1993, that I had to unwrap and sort through and put on shelves. And I built the shelves, of course, they put them on.
And these are manuals that we can sell the originals of. So it's an original manual that you can order from us.
Yes.
We do charge a little bit more for the originals, but a lot of the ones that are down, we very rarely go in the basement to grab manuals because a lot of it is, it's like combines and other implements, and we just have fewer orders for those kinds of things.
Well, the reason the museum still has those after 30 years of retaining them is because they were less popular things. The really popular stuff, the museum sold out really quickly, and then we're left over with this stuff.
Yep.
Like my favorite here,
Oh.
the, what is it? I think it's 1265?
Oh, yeah.
You see. Yeah, so 1265 parts books. This whole shelf, this and this and this and this are all 1265 parts books. I guarantee there are more 1265 parts books in this room than there are 1265s on Earth.
Yes, and
For
the 1265s were a Fiat that Oliver rebranded.
Yep.
And do we have defect reports for 1265s?
I don't remember. I think so. I can't recall.
So Fiats were not quite so popular, I think, when they were selling them.
Not
So-
from the Oliver brand, no.
Yep. But yeah, we've got 2 rooms full of manuals along with the shelf rack.
And 1950T shop manuals. The 1950T actually is fairly popular, so we can sell those every once in a while.
Yeah.
And I had to label these
Oh, we have more
shelves.
Minneapolis Morning down there too.
Oh wait, tons of stuff.
Mm-hmm.
This room had a bunch of other random stuff on the floor too that I had to get rid of.
Anyway, here's more signs.
More stuff.
Mm-hmm. I like our Santa Claus sign. I put him out last year we did a Christmas in July, real quick short exhibit to go along with the Christmas in July stuff happening in Charles City. And I found him and I put him out and I thought it was fun. It says 1924 just in Sharpie on his head. I don't actually know if that's what he's from, but somebody put that on him, so. And we just got more stuff back here, so.
Yep, more.
And I don't know the story behind this either with the wall.
Yeah, originally there was a door there, I guess, then they cut that out for some reason.
Yeah, a really skinny door too.
I know. Well, this building is just weird.
Mm-hmm.
Oh yeah, this was another room that you couldn't walk into. There was a little path right here where you could walk over to that doorway, and then there was just stuff piled up over here and piled up over here all the way to the back. You couldn't walk in. So I had to get rid of a lot of stuff. So much stuff.
But now it's the photography room.
Yep.
So we've got a bunch of photography stuff, as well as yarn-related items, or like weaving items, I guess you could say. Textile creation items.
Sure.
Mm-hmm. So, pretty fun.
And our fluoroscope.
Yes, you want to explain that? That's a fun thing.
Yes, so that is for measuring one's foot. It was a demonstration device at shoe stores. So on the other side, there's a little hole in the back where there'd be someone standing there, sticking his foot in, and then people could look through these viewports and see a live X-ray of the foot being stuck in the machine, which means there was radioactive material in that wooden box. Those are outlawed now because I guess apparently exposing people directly to radioactive material is like dangerous or something. Whatever.
Yep. They were outlawed pretty soon after I think it was made, right?
I believe they were invented in the 1920s or 30s. They were outlawed in the 50s.
Okay.
So about 20, 30 years they were in existence. It's very, very heavy, like everything. That barbershop chair is very heavy. Very heavy.
Let's see how many things Scott can say is heavy in the video.
So heavy.
This is the kitchen room. So quite a few items, again, our mid-century life exhibit came out of this room.
Yep.
So, but because we have our system of boxes and everything now has a number, it was easier to find them, and that's all put into our computer system. So I could look at items and see approximately what time period they were from, and then come find them where they were supposed to be according to what Past Perfect said.
Yeah, this room was chaos when I started.
It wasn't terrible actually, and these shelves were here already too. I don't think you built these shelves.
No, these shelves, those ones were here. I built this one.
Yeah. So it wasn't too. I didn't think it was terrible because I saw this room before you worked on it. I didn't think it was too bad. It wasn't great, but it wasn't terrible.
It wasn't as bad as other rooms. That's
Yes.
for sure.
Then we have some other fun things.
Yeah, this room never had much in it.
No, it was basically just these items that are here.
Yeah.
We got. This is just a piano, right?
Yeah, it has
Yeah.
a number. I forget the story.
But it's not an organ or anything. It's a piano.
Where it came from, I don't recall. These foot pedals go with it.
Okay.
So it is an organ actually.
Hmm.
It went with an organ. I can't remember.
Okay.
It has a number.
We have some legs up there.
Yeah, the guy is like the grandson or the nephew or something of the man whose legs those were. Came and told us about them. So yeah, that's perfect.
Mm-hmm. He visited us and wanted to see I think it was his uncle's prosthetic legs. And so we came down here and you went and got him and he took some photos with them. So that was kind of fun.
And his uncle apparently never liked wearing them because they were uncomfortable, so he never learned to walk on them, which is why they're not all beat up. I mean, they are, but they're not as beat up as they would be if he'd actually use them.
Mm-hmm. And we have some sewing machines over here. And then this room is a fun area because you'll notice this is one of our exterior doors, the only exterior door in the basement. where when this was Dr. Salisbury's laboratory, farmers could come in and bring their sick chickens, and this area would be like a waiting area basically, and you'll notice we have like a half door, so they can pass their chicken either over here or kind of through that area, and then the scientists at Dr. Salisbury's laboratory would do experiments on them or see what kind of medication was good, and then could pass the medication through that little window.
Yes, this room here was kind of a pharmacy. And they kept all the drugs.
So they might give you your chicken back and then pass you some pills for him.
Yep, and originally there was glass here. It's gone now, of course.
So.
And phone drain.
But the basement's fun because it's got a lot of leftover bits from Dr. Salisbury's laboratory.
And you see all the nastiness here. It wasn't like that before 2008. 2008 there was a flood, and the water got in here up to, I think it was around that level. And there were cardboard boxes stacked in here when I started working here that obviously had not been moved since before 2008, so they were all rotted and nasty. Anyway, a lot of this grossness is from 2008. Like this wall here is looking really bad because of that flood.
Yeah, so. But that's pretty much the basement. So we'll look at some stuff upstairs also, but that's the basement. All right, this is the vault. And here's Scott in the vault. The vault is all tractor related stuff. So this is where we have manuals that we can make copies of. That's kind of the main use for this room. But we have a lot of other things in here as well. Just various documentation from the factory. Photos are also in here in some of the file cabinets. And then we also have things like swag and promotional items that Oliver produced.
Slides.
And slides. We've got plenty of slides and other stuff. We haven't been through everything in this room yet, so.
Miscellaneous documentation. I spend a lot of time in here. All those boxes up there are pretty recent. I did those this year. Those are all the objects, not paper. The rest of the stuff is paper that it's kind of organized.
Yeah, we have a pretty good understanding of the paper stuff in here. You know, we've got our document boxes and they have descriptions of what's in them, and those are basically accurate, as well as the descriptions on some of the filing cabinets are pretty accurate as well. And we've got lots of interesting things, in my opinion, from the plant mostly. Just when you open up, you know, it's just kind of neat primary source documentation from Hart Parr and from Oliver. So that's cool. This file is just for cabs, it looks like. And then we have some photos of a narrow row cab on an Oliver. It's a 1950T. So, you know, just kind of random stuff like that is in here. I like to look at it. There's that. A pickup. Looks like it's kind of an order, it's kind of an invoice for the Allison Implement Company, which isn't very far away in Allison, Iowa.
It's another
A
thing.
cab for a 525 combine and a one-row something for a corn head. It looks like Smith, but I know it's not that. Or I doubt it's that. I don't know. So anyway, just kind of fun little things like that in the vault.
Another thing where we wish we had kind of an index of everything we have in here so we know.
It would take years to make an index of the stuff we have. And we have these like general indexes, and the files are labeled and they are accurate, generally speaking, but we don't have it like on a computer somewhere where we can be like, is this thing here in the vault? So it just is kind of a search and find kind of thing, you know?
Yeah, that computer thing will never happen because it's just way too much.
Yeah, but it's good how it is. So I can still find stuff and do research when we can. So it's good. And people are welcome to come and do research in the vault or in the tractor archive room. You know, we get research requests. We don't always want to spend tons of time doing that, but anyone's welcome to visit and do their own research here at the museum. So we're pretty open to that.
As long as they're careful.
Yes.
Not just ripping things up.
And next to the vault is the manual room. Here's the manual room. So these were all put on shelves by our volunteers, the same volunteers who were nice enough to sweep up the tractor archive room and do some stuff. They'll go through those blueprints before they did all of that. They were in this room moving all these manuals from piles on the floor onto shelves where they have labels of what the manuals are, which makes our lives way easier for giving people original manuals. So these are all originals that anyone can purchase from us, and they're pretty neat. The original stuff is usually more sought after by collectors than the copies that we make, but
And when I started working
there's an
here,
example.
there was not an index of what all was on what shelf. So if somebody ordered a manual for a plow or whatever, we would come in here and then just look up and down the shelves. I spent about a week or two just with pencil and paper. Okay, what's on this shelf? What's on that shelf? Then I typed it all, and now we know. So we never have to look up and down the shelves all over again, because that was just a huge pain.
So, which is good. We have got cockshut stuff over here.
Yes, I reorganized all of that too.
So that's fun. The cockshut ones are cream and brown.
Well, the newer ones, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
That Pressy Ramassus manual.
Yeah. This one's in French.
Yes, it is.
So quite a few of the cockshut ones are in French. For any of you French speakers and readers out there who might need a cockshut manual.
Because
They were sent to Canada.
Canada. That's right.
And we have the sales literature over there.
Mm-hmm. I organized that also.
That was pretty organized already.
Well, into those filing cabinets I organized it.
Yes. They were previously organized in other filing cabinets.
Yeah, kind of. Sort of. Half.
And we have a list of all the sales literature we have now.
Which I made.
Which is fun. Yes, which is fun. But, you know, just general stuff. And they're labeled, so that's nice. And we can make copies of these kinds of things and sell them as well. This is our hanging clothing room. And this is a work in progress for storage and for cataloging, but Alicia, who's our other summer intern, who's just over there, she's been working in this room to catalog and kind of see how good the paperwork is on all of these items. Well, some of them. She's gotten through all of the military uniforms, which is great. And then most recently, she's been working on coats, as you can see from her, some of the stuff she has out right now. So just updating their past perfect entries and then also deciding whether or not they are relevant and we need to keep them. So this is the hanging clothing room.
Yes.
We have more clothing that's not hanging up, but this is all just hanging, so.
Power blueprints. So these would be, this one's from 1913, so that blueprint's over 100 years old. These we would like to have scanned.
And we're in the process of scanning them.
Yes, we had some volunteers come a while ago, and they scanned a few of the drawers. I forget where they stopped. And those are all digitized, they're on my computer, they're numbered, so those are all good. And we just need to have more of that scanning done all the way through all these, which would take quite a while, but you know, just pick away at it, little by little.
We got a nice, very large scanner for the blueprints, thanks to a grant from the Hart Par Oliver Foundation, which is like the charitable foundation associated with Hart Par Oliver Collectors Association. So. But there's also a bunch of there's a bunch of negatives in this room too, and slides and just kind of random stuff. So some of it's from South Bend, I know, but it's just like our work in progress space.
Yeah, we have a volunteer that's been working in this room exclusively for 4 years? 3 years?
No, I think 3.
3 years?
Yeah. This room was it a bathroom? There's a
Originally?
sink right there.
I don't know, a laboratory space of some variety, I think.
I don't know. I'll get out so you can see it better.
Okay, yeah. Anyway, this is the weapon rooms where the guns are.
And some knives also.
Yeah, some knives, there's some swords up there on that shelf too. Ceremonial swords. We have some, in those boxes, we have some pistols that probably, if you fired them, you're more likely to blow off your own hand than what you're shooting at. Because they're, I would not feel comfortable firing any of these guns. They're so old, I don't know.
Nobody asked you to, so
No.
it's okay.
Curiously enough, we have a pretty sharp cutoff date of World War I. After World War I, we had basically 0 guns. All of our guns are from like, late 19th century to World War I, and that's it.
So I guess if you have guns from the
1920s
1920s
onward.
basically onward, yeah, then we'll take them.
Yeah,
Maybe.
we have so few guns, yeah. Not that we desperately want
Oh,
guns.
we need more guns.
Yeah, exactly. Not that we're desperate for them, but it's just kind of odd, you know.
This space is obviously kept locked up too. People
Yes,
can just
of course.
come in here and mess with the guns.
Yes, this is locked. Yes.
Yes.
Right. What was that noise?
So, okay, this is the medical and toy room.
Yes.
Medical and toy.
Yep.
Anything fun to note about any of the items in here?
Oh, well, the medical stuff, there's so many bizarre things I'd never heard of, old medical tools that aren't used anymore, or some that are, and I some weird, oddly shaped piece of metal, like, what is this thing? I gotta go look it up, and they're for all these strange purposes, sticking in all the orifices all over. That's fun. Lots of model train stuff in here too, with the toys.
Mm-hmm.
Weird machines. Oh, sphygmomanometer. That's that thing that has your blood pressure. You know, it's a thing that wraps around your arm and it gets tight and they pump it. That sphygmomanometer. I learned the word because we had a whole bunch of those that I had to figure out what they were.
Mm-hmm.
Yep. Board games too. We have a whole bunch of board games from the late 19th century in these boxes. It's just interesting, just a mishmash of stuff that we have.
Yeah. I just noticed this sticker, empty boxes pointing all over. Had
Yeah,
you ever noticed that?
That was there when I started working
Well,
here.
yeah.
There
I knew
were-
you didn't do that.
There were no empty boxes in this room when I started working here, so that I don't know what that is.
That's out of date.
A little bit, yeah.
Okay, this is the textile room. It is certainly a work in progress, but this is where clothing that's not hung up is basically all children's clothing is in this room. Also, we have quilts, and this is the correct way to store a quilt, but it makes it hard to look at them ever. But we do have photos of them on the outside, which is helpful. And then we also have things like little accessories and jewelry and stuff like that. I think there's a lot of fun things in here just because I'm personally interested in fashion and textile history. But it gets overwhelming because we just do have so much stuff in this room. But it is all textile or things that people wear. Previously, there had been other random objects, but Scott went through the random objects in this room and put them away in better places.
Artillery shells, cannonballs.
Yes, but lots of fun little doodads. I'm trying to. This is, I think, just a box. Yeah, there's nothing in here, but it's for a jeweler in Charles City. Probably from 1910s, 1920s would be my guess, but I'm not positive.
Probably, yeah.
So, yeah, fun stuff. Lots of plumes. We can open a box. That's interesting. Yeah, isn't it? Plumes that ladies would wear in their hair. This one's pretty big. So, fun stuff like that. We have stuff like this on display in our clothing room, obviously, but this is a lot of other stuff. This is like a full bird's wing. We also have plenty of school uniforms and things like that over here. Some of it just needs to go back in boxes. And you also have flags over here, right?
Oh, yeah,
they're the flags.
Yep.
These are more flags, I think, right?
Yeah, we have a couple of 48 star flags and a few earlier than that.
Here's a fun early 1900s football helmet. And it's for CCHS, which is Charles City High School, obviously.
These vinyl banners are from the 1996 Olympics when the Olympic torch went through Charles City. And because they're made of vinyl, they don't really deteriorate at all, so we're going to have them for another 100 years probably.
Mm-hmm. So we've got I think a lot of the items in this room are fun and interesting, but a lot of it is not cataloged. But that's it, I think, for all our storage spaces.
Pretty much, yeah.
So thanks for coming along with us.
Thanks for coming along on our tour. We're happy to show you all the museum. Be sure to smash that like button.
And subscribe, and also visit us in person. We're open Wednesday to Saturday from 9 a.m. to 4 year-round. Here in Charles City, Iowa, 500 Gilbert Street. Bye! Okay.
Sing a song or something?
There's a yellow rose in Texas that I have gone to see. Nobody else could miss her, not half as much as me. She cried so when I left her, it like to broke my heart. And if I ever find her, we never more will part.